Jen, ladies first. You could tell yours.
Oh, okay, so I thought we were gonna go in order here, but it's okay. Yeah, so we'll the local examples we wanted to share ours because sometimes when we talk about these other individuals that are so far off from our realm that the newest people don't really know how to calculate that in their mind, right? But I used to work 80 hours a week, guys, at two restaurants. They were next to each other. I was making $1,800 a month, working 80 hours a week on my feet from 10 a.m. to 12 midnight. And I had to go back to school the very next month and a half. So I didn't really go full time until after I graduated a year and a half later. And that now it's, I mean, from $1,800 a month, which is less than $23,000 a year. Now my rolling 12 is close to 80,000 now, which is, I'm kind of upset with that because I'm looking for my ring, looking to marry myself pretty soon, marry the game, you know? But yeah, like 80,000 versus 23,000, and I work maybe 15 hours a week versus 80 hours a week. That's pretty ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, man. So I'll tell you briefly about my story, guys. So I was an athlete. I never really went into like corporate America too much. I did a lot of customer service retail beforehand. So when I got into the business, I was in my senior year of college. I was a biology major. I wanted to be a veterinarian at the time, which you can make pretty good money doing that. So once I got out of college, I was working, got introduced here. I got bit by a dog, and then that whole thing changed. And my dad introduced me to the business, and I was like, okay, great. This is awesome. I think I'm going to make the decision to actually do this. And so at that point, I was part time for a while. I didn't go full time right away. I was extremely introverted, and so it took me a little while to get things going. But I eventually did make that decision. And sometimes, like for example, if and this is just me personally, if you're in a relationship and you have a significant other, you have responsibilities, sometimes going full time is a conversation with that person. And so, for example, some people, like in my case, I'll have a conversation with Mike and be like, hey, this is what we want to do. We make an agreement. And I'm like, all right, I'm quitting. So now I know I have to be responsible for the income that I was bringing into our household. And I know that Mike is there, but my goal is to make sure that I'm still making that money. Sometimes people go full time and they're like, "Oh, my spouse is working, so I don't really have to make any money." No, you it has to be a conversation. You can't quit your job to be reliant on somebody else. And in most cases, like with Jen and Josh, I know when they both decide to go full time, there is nobody else. They have to make their own money. And so I think that's something that's critical. But I was working literally retail, making like I was working like 6 a.m. to 12 at a retail store doing like shipment in the back. And I was making like maybe $600 a week. I was like, what? I am stopping that. And it doesn't even make sense. I can write one sale and make the exact same amount of money. So in my mind, it just came across like, this is stupid. Why am I even doing this? I just need to get to work. And then I was replacing my income immediately. Right. So that's just kind of my experience. And now, obviously, I mean, we got the ring this year. We're making 50,000 and on the way to the ring, 100,000 a year. So it's definitely possible.
Good stuff. In conclusion, guys, becoming full time is just a decision. You decide to go full time, meaning you put to rest all other options. Okay, my story is different from the ones you just heard. Okay, I was 18 years old. I left my mom's. I left my mom's house. I went to college for 1 year, but within I was working at a retail place for 2 weeks, and within meeting when I met Samir, I didn't even go back. Like no notice, no nothing. I quit my job in 2 days. Okay, it took me 2 days to realize this was the opportunity that I was going to latch onto and give it my all. I cold turkey quit. Wasn't really leaving behind much. And a lot of folks I know are on here, or futuristically, because we're going to send this out to a lot of people, they're thinking, well, he didn't have kids. He didn't have 100,000. He didn't have a salary. Oh my gosh, he didn't have a salary that he's leaving behind. He wouldn't understand. No, you don't understand the type of, and this is just, this reminds me of one of the greatest boxers ever. You know, the guy literally got paralyzed and had to teach himself how to walk. They said, you never box again. The doctor, and he told the doctor, you don't understand what kind of man I am. Right? Doesn't matter what it was. When you see something clear as day, okay, and you want something bad enough, there's nothing that can stop you from obtaining it. You know, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, keywords, and believe, it can achieve. But you've got to have reasons to pull that trigger and just do it. Leave your freaking stupid job. Okay, this is like good cop, bad cop here. You know, like you've got people that you can relate to, you know, that have stuff to lose, that are married, that had kids. We got Eugene Lazard, who's like over $400,000 of income and went over 200,000 in his first year of being in Primerica. Very impressive. Him and I got started at the same exact time. I chose to go to college for 1 year. He chose to go make 200 grand, right? And he left a $200,000 a year job with a kid, one on the way, and was married. And she wasn't working. Okay, so imagine that, he leaving that behind. How much of a risk is that? April Bonner was a nurse, okay, and she did something that's absolutely nuts. Made over 250 in the first 18 months of being here. Is now over, within 3 years, $500,000 of income. Works like a maniac. Jen said she sat next to her at a trip and tells Jen, hey, I get started at 9 a.m. Sometimes I don't stop until 1 a.m. in the morning. You know, sometimes 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. Yeah, just like, my bad, Jen. We've got Frank Dillon. Frank Dillon was the fastest to $1 million a year. He was a doctor in his country, spoke no English when he got here, okay? Left a $200,000 a year salary. Within 5 years in Primerica was making $1 million a year. You guys can pay 100,000, your bills off 100 grand, probably less. 5 years from scratch, no English, left 200,000 a year salary, $1 million. Going full time, guys, is a decision. You just have to pull the trigger. I know you're scared. Do it anyways. I know you have kids. Do it anyways. I know you have security. Do it. You definitely got to do it. Because security is limitation. Security is not potential. You've got to just take a leap of faith and say, and obviously calculated. Don't do it if you don't master your fundamentals, you know, and have a schedule like Shondell just went through. But if you've got those in place, you got everything you need to pull the trigger. And if you don't have those things in place, do it. You could be there in 6 weeks from right now. What a great time to start. It's 2021. Hello, good morning. Happy New Year. Let's get started. Let's go full time. Let's create RVPs, man. Let's be the #1 hierarchy in the country, man. Go full time. We want you to join us. Jen, close us out. What's Shaq's story?
Yeah, guys. So as you guys may or may not know, and this is Shaq's story is my favorite to tell, not because he's just my upline, but I mean, this guy definitely leads by example. This is the guy that we have the pleasure of being mentored by. So when I say this, I want you guys to know, like, we got to all make a commitment to make sure that we get our teammates and sell out to training and get our teammates to sell out to training. They got to be showing up, guys, because Shaq, he started with a $30,000 a year salary job in corporate America being an accountant, and they skipped his promotion by pay. They gave him the title promotion, and he basically walked out. He went full time. In reality, his full time started 8 months after he started in Primerica, 8 months exactly, from May to January. And when he went full time, within the first 2 years, he made $100,000. He got his ring. Then within 3 years later, the first 3 years, so a year later, he hit 200,000. And then when he went RVP, he made 250,000 plus, held a record throughout the company as first year RVP. That's our vice president. That's our NSD. That's our mentor. That's our leader. And Shaq always says this famously. If you guys have ever talked to Shaq, he goes, I would never ask you to tell you to do anything or tell you to do anything that I never done before. And he always says, if you want what I had, you got to do what I did. And I don't know about you guys, but I never want to have to sit in front of a teammate on Zoom and try to get them to do something that I've never done before. I want my teammate to be like, oh, dang, she understands me because she's been there already and she's done this. Hey, you got a negative bank account? Cool. At some time early in my career, yes, we all did that, right? Oh, you don't have a car? No problem. I didn't have a car for 7 years purposely, right? Until Shaq forced me to get a car. And now we don't need a car anymore. Shaking my head. Can you guys believe this guy told me to sell my car after telling me to get a car? Cut that out the recording. All right, guys. Listen, we got 3 days until month end, including today. Okay, so if you include today, Saturday, Sunday, Monday by 6 p.m., we got 3 days to work. And like Shay Felton always says, there's a lot of time for those that work. Those that are not those that don't have the winning mentality, they're thinking, oh, I'll just wait until January before she starts for us and then I'll start over my promotion. No. Fight and build some momentum now so that it builds you into the first week of January the right way. And let's get it popping, guys. Let's have a great month end. Book a bunch of appointments by Monday. And yeah, happy month end.